What up, y'all? How y'all doing? Welcome to another episode of Pierre's Panic Room. You know how we do every show. We have a great guest. This one's no exception. I'm excited, but before we start the show, you know what we got to do. I got to go read the comments that my staff has chosen for some of the things that you've written into my comment section, and they keep it 100, so they, we pick out anything that they feel like they want me to read about, the show. All right, let's talk about the one. We got the one from Shucky Ducky finally confronts Chris Rock dissing him on Def Jam. C. Shiyomo Belafonte, you see what it says. Pierre didn't like his answers, so he went left. Man said he was okay. Pierre has never been funny. I must be mistaken reading this because I know you ain't wrote what you think. Pierre didn't like the answer, so he went left. Man said he was okay. Pierre has never been funny. Never? That's what we're going with. Never. Shimo. I think the O-M-O should be replaced with just a T. All right. The next one is from the Dr. Carmen Johnson discussion about her upbringing. Victoria Lynn, 1966. Appreciate that. We have the old heads listening. I appreciate that. I'm a new supporter, but dude, you were so disrespectful on this interview. What? I'm trying to look at it in its entirety, but dang. What you mean it's so disrespectful? I was just kicking a Willy Bobo with her. We had a good time. In fact, her and I went out one day from drinks after the show. So I guess I wasn't that disrespectful, Victoria Lynn, 1966. Maybe the folks who were born in 1966 was disrespectful, but right now, that ain't no disrespectful. I had to ask questions. I had to ask some stuff. She had to answer some stuff. Let's not get our feelings involved. All right. Also on that same show, I guess Baba, B-A-B-A, said, outstanding interview, Pierre. This already starts off well. This is personally my favorite episode. Copying Dr. Carmen's book, too. Props. My bad. Props. All right. Thank you so much, Baba. Get her, definitely get her book, man. She's a lovely woman. Been through a lot, man. I appreciate y'all. All right. You know how we do, man. Every show, we got a fantastic guest, and this show is no different. Y'all ready? This next young gentleman, very, very, very talented as a rapper, as an activist. It was hard to get him, y'all. It was hard to wrangle this brother, but I got him, and he's here tonight. He's going to sit down and talk to me about some stuff. I need to ask him some questions about, racism, with the light skin and the dark skin, so we get into that. Give it up for the one and only Mr. Killer Mike. Look at that, brother. What's up, brother? Bringing back 1990 with the cross colors.
With the polo, Ralph Lauren.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hold on, just like I told T.I., how's a black conscious brother wearing the white man's clothes, brother?
Well, I went to Morehouse, and they just dropped the Morehouse and Spelman capsule. So, keep some white friends.
Oh, okay, well, that's what it is.
You ain't going to win no war without no allies.
Ooh, I know that's right.
I like that hat, boy.
That's for you, brother.
Where you got that pimp hat from?
Okay, from Decatur.
Oh, okay.
West Grader.
Boy, I was watching Bounce the other day. I was so high. I forgot you was in the movie. I said, this boy's a comedic genius.
Thank you very much. Y'all there. Record that. Get that one more time. He's what?
A comedic genius.
There it is right there. If he says it's true, then, okay?
How you doing, man?
I'm good, brother. First of all, thank you for coming on my show.
No, thank you for being patient with me. For y'all don't know, he been trying to. This is a 6 month journey.
We've been. But you worth it, brother.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
No. And I really got mad respect for you, man. And I want you to help maybe educate me on some stuff. So that's why I really wanted to bring you. And every time I saw you in the streets at the airport, you always showed me love, man.
Yeah.
You wasn't one of the kind of guys that was, I'm say full of himself. You just was gracious, man. Your personality. You're a big brother. Yeah. So some people sometimes think maybe,
I ain't scared. I ain't fighting nobody.
Oh, no, damn.
No, okay, I ain't doing all that shit. I'm going to hug you. I'm going to smile.
Right.
And then, if it don't go well.
Do some people think you might be a little bit extra because from?
I don't need to be extra. You be this big, I'm 6'3", man, over 300. I don't need to be extra, man.
Right, but you stand for what you stand for, so I want to make sure.
Yeah, I mean the things that I'm adamant about. I'm adamant about.
Okay.
But life ever changes, so I try to stay flexible and open.
Okay, so you actually an ATL brother. I mean, you were raised in LTL?
Yeah,
Atlanta, right?
Yeah, I was raised 2 exits that way.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's the hood, y'all. But okay, 2 exits that way. This is the hood right here.
No, this ain't the hood. This ain't the hood.
This ain't the hood?
No, black people in Atlanta tend to stay together. So
Okay.
whether your mother was like my grandparents, who one was a nurse and my grandfather drove dump trucks, or you was the richest black family in Atlanta who lived 3 streets behind us,
Right.
everybody just lived together. So
Okay.
me and T.I. from a part of Atlanta called the West Side.
Okay.
That's not the same as Southwest Atlanta. Southwest Atlanta is south of I-20.
Okay.
Southwest Atlanta is south of I-20. And we grew up at the bottom of Northwest Atlanta, what people would traditionally call the West Side of Atlanta.
Okay.
Rich
I
folk
think
moving in, now they call
Right.
it Upper Midtown or Western Midtown, something crazy.
Is
shit.
that what it is?
But it's just about it's Pierre Home, Hollywood Court, Collier Heights, Bankhead.
I used to live around there, believe it or not, man. I lived near Bowen Home and
Exactly.
Hollywood Court.
Exactly.
'Cause I remember when they started knocking them
Yeah,
down.
exactly. You was right there by Jackson Parkway and stuff. Yeah.
There you go.
You
There
remember that? What dog skin girl had you as a pet back there?
Okay. You must know some real stuff now. Okay.
I ain't lying.
I
My
had a-
daddy your color. My mama brought him home.
Is that
Yeah,
really?
yeah,
Really?
Yeah, I'm from one of them families where all of my daddy folk light skin, my mama vote dog.
Okay, so how do your family break up? How's the dynamics of your family? You then what do you?
Well,
fall?
my parents was 16 and 19 when they had me. The best decision they ever made was letting my mom's parents raise me. So I grew up right on Collier Drive, right in the Collier Heights and Adamsville community. Went to Frederick Douglass High School, Collier Heights Elementary, Frederick Douglass High School, and
Right.
Morehouse College.
Right.
You know, so My dynamic is my daddy are the Longs from Commerce, Georgia, and Greenville, South Carolina, and my mother's family are the Blackmans and Mackeys out of Tuskegee, Alabama.
Okay. So you went to Douglas High. Did you go to school with somebody? Was T.I. went to school with you? High
Yeah,
school?
Tip's younger than me though. Tip's 5 years younger. So
Okay.
when I was a senior, he would have been in 8th grade.
Okay.
So he was him and my sister for lunch. All them went to school together.
Okay.
And for me, our rival high school was the Mayor's High School from Benjamin E. Mays. And
I've heard
I've
of that
always
school.
thought that part of the beauty of growing up in Atlanta was all your heroes and villains look like you. So, you know, Benjamin E. Mays was
Yeah.
the former president of Morehouse College. So my rival at Frederick Douglass, who was the most photographed person in the 19th century, advisors to presidents and senators and congresspeople. I go to Frederick Douglass, your pride gonna be swollen up.
Sure.
And you go Benjamin E. Mays, their pride swollen up. So it's one of the healthiest competitions. I figure you in a school system where at least 50-60% named for black educators and emancipators. Most of my teachers went to Booker T. Washington High School, to a historically black college.
Right,
university.
sure,
So my
sure.
whole universe, till I was about 14 years old, was black people.
Was black people. And I'm gonna ask you about that. Growing up, because I see you became an activist, you became a rapper. Did something influence you when you were young like that? That you see the streets? Did your parents educate you?
My
and stuff?
grandparents. Yeah.
Your grandparents, right?
Yeah, I saw my grandfather was born in 1922, and he had been everything from a liquor runner to just a decent, upstanding dump truck driver that raised his grandchildren.
Right.
My grandmother was from a large family that owned land in Alabama, so her and her sisters and brother were educated. She became a nurse. She moved here, you know. So I've come from, you know, when people say the streets, you know,
Right.
you know, the streets a lot of times are a choice. Most black people have a plethora of people in their family, and you kind of pick out the people you're going to choose to follow. My granddaddy had been with the worst of the worst and the curse of the curse, and then he started having children. He decided to change his life around. So, you know, my cousins that got in the street and stuff, it was him and his brothers and stuff telling that, you know, that's stupid. And then I got a chance to see the difference between what's truly street and what's stupidity.
Right. Okay, so after you went to Morehouse because, you know, it's a black college, and that, out of all the colleges.
No, it's the best college in America. So
Easy,
I went to
man,
Morehouse.
easy, man.
Yeah, I went to Morehouse because it's the best.
It's the
Absolute
best.
absolutely.
And what constitutes it to be best? Just want me to know. I mean,
Can you name a better American than Dr. Martin Luther King?
Donald Trump. I mean, he did me well. He gave me them checks.
Hey, man.
No,
Yeah.
I'm messing with you.
I ain't mad at you.
I'm a mess with
Nah,
you
but
over
Dr.
here.
King, Dr. King,
Well, okay,
Dr. King,
all right,
Dr. King,
all right,
Dr. King
all
went
right.
to Booker T. Washington, went to Morehouse. You know,
Okay,
got Benjamin Mays, led Morehouse in terms of producing, you know, young African American men going to change the fabric of this,
Right, sure,
this
sure.
nation. You know, I'm sold on the hype.
Sure. No, and deservingly, you know, 'cause
Yeah.
like you said. Did you? When did you get into rap? Did you get rap around that
9
time?
years old, man.
When you was 9 years old?
Fresh fits.
Who did you see that you felt like I made you want to say I want to
Well,
do
my
this?
mom, she was 16 when she had me, so the first phase of rap belonged to my mother, Curtis Blow,
Nice.
Houdini.
Oh, yeah, come on
You
now.
know, even later with Salt and Pepper. Like, that was to me, my mom was like, because my mom was fly. You know what I mean? She
Okay.
was, you know, half a dozen
Right,
and
right.
more gold chains, rings on every finger.
Kinda like Salt and
Party-
Pepper, you know,
Yeah,
the
she
asymmetric
exactly.
hair.
Her
I
and
feel
her
you.
homegirl, the
I
fly
feel you.
girls. But Run DMC, when I saw Run DMC come out and that all black denim, starter jackets, the Adidas with no strings,
laces,
I was just like, oh, dog, this is me.
And this is at 9 years old.
This is at 19 years old. I'm
Wow.
like, oh, this is what I'm about. And I remember asking my mother, my rap partner's name is LP. So my rap partner is white from Brooklyn.
Okay.
I'm black from Atlanta.
Right.
And his mom didn't let him go to Fresh Fest. And he was always like, man, my mom let me go. And I was just like, man, thank God my mom was 16 years older than me and didn't know much better.
Right.
Because she was 26. She was like, you want to Fresh Fest? She was like,
right.
You doing? No, she didn't say, let's go. She put me and my cousin out on
You
the curb.
going with her? Wow.
She was like, you going? She's like, go in
Nice.
after the show, come back out, be right here, or I'm going to kill you.
Let me ask you. Okay, I know it's your mom's. Do you encourage women to still do that at such a young age? Because some girls have kids at young age. To get their kids involved and stuff like that.
I told my daughter's ex-boyfriend once, I said, you know, if she gets pregnant by you, it's not going to ruin her life because she has a huge family. I said, I'm going to take care of the child. Of course, my sisters are going to help take care. She has cousins. I say, but you better believe, just as sure as you got good hair and a curly bun on the top, she's going to go to social services. And she going to put your ass on child support.
Wow.
And it's going to ruin the rest of your life. So my family is a family that is a village. And we raise children like old country families. But most people I don't advise that for because it's too difficult a lot of times as a young mother. Because most of us are, 70% of black households are single parents.
Sure.
So if you're a young person, I would say stay young. My grandma used to tell me, stay a child as long as you can. So young women and men out there, and especially for our young men, protect yourself from pregnancy. Because once she gets pregnant, you are out of control. You have no legitimacy over the child. You have to go to courts to get granted rights and stuff. And you lose the ability to dream and do what you want to do because after the government gets involved in your relationship, it's never going to be the same. You're never going to have a leadership role in the relationship. You're going to be on the internet crying, So for me, I try to tell young men, wait. Don't even let a girl take you seriously till you 28, 29 years old.
Wow, really?
Don't even have children.
Right.
In your 30s, because you need to have time to really blow off all the steam, have all the fun you want. So, and for young ladies, a man is probably not going to stay because you have a child.
True.
And in most cases, the younger you are, the quicker they're going to be to run. You know what I mean? So, my father wanted to marry my mother. My mother, she didn't want to be married. She wanted to have fun. So they was all in water together.
Right.
But thankfully, her parents raised me. So I advise young people to be selfish, don't have children.
Right.
Have all the fun you can, date till you don't want to date no more.
Right.
And then when you decide to shift that gear, have those conversations with one another. But don't bring children into the world till you're really, really ready.
Right.
I'm speaking from a person who did it,
You brought kids in at a young age?
19 years old, freshman year in Morehouse.
Wow. Okay. Did you get raised? Were you raised? Your grandmother, like she had like Southern, background, like real conservative type of thing. You know what I'm saying?
Southerners, they believe in Jesus.
Right. Sure.
They don't believe as liberally as her daughter. This is my grandmother Betty, and it's her daughter Denise.
Okay.
So she wasn't as liberal as my mother. You couldn't listen to rap after, say 6, 7 o'clock on Fridays through Sunday. It was we had to go to Holiness Church, use church.
But the streets were too strong. They pulled you in. You think to make you do?
It wasn't too strong to pull me. I wasn't a sheep. I just made certain decisions.
Okay.
Okay. And I was taught by my grandparents. You live and die by your own decisions. Now, if you get locked up, we're not sending no money to you. And
Ooh, I know that's right.
Ain't nobody, because my grandfather had been to the chain gang. So he would just be adamant about what it really was in there. He'd tell you make these decisions, you're gonna live with. I remember my grandmother and grandfather would let me drive. I never really had a curfew, and my grandfather started letting me drive a little raggedy Plymouth Valera he put together. My grandmother said, "You'll be in the house at 9 o'clock." And I'm like, "Man, I'm driving. They want to be in the house at 9 o'clock. I don't want to watch Family Matters." And I came in at 9:15, 10:15, 11:15, 12:15, and it was a blanket and a pillow in the car because that's where you were sleeping.
Wow.
And it didn't matter if it was winter, didn't matter if it was fall. So what I learned was by the conservatism that people described is that there are consequences to the decisions you make.
Right.
When you make a decision, make sure you're prepared to see the decision all the way through because, as much as we want to cry foul a lot of times, I remember my grandparents literally telling me and my sisters, ain't no such thing as Santa Claus. We ain't worked this hard to let you believe some fat white man bring you all this. They say, but you go to the mall, you take a picture with the fat white man.
Right.
But the fat white man didn't bring any of this stuff. We bought this. And I remember asking my grandmother, what y'all got? For Christmas, she said, well, you might get some oranges, some potato sack draws, and if you're lucky, a doll, if you're lucky. And now this is from a land-only family. My grandfather's father left, and he worked in a sawmill at 10 years old. He said, it wasn't no such thing as Christmas for me. I had 2 little sisters. So that made me at a very young age value everything that was given to me because I started to understand that the people who were raising me grew up without, and not poor, not distraught, not crying about it. Just that wasn't a possibility to him. So, for me, I've always moved from a place of gratitude because the people that raised me grew up during the Great Depression. They grew up in an agricultural society. They grew up where child labor laws weren't very strict, so they could be worked. You know what I mean?
Sure, young age.
So I learned to just appreciate it.
Okay. Now, you got into the rap game, but let me ask you something. How can you get in the rap game when your family the po-po? That's what you rap about, man. Come on, man.
My dad took me to buy Ice-T Rhyme Pays. You know?
Really?
Yeah. Ice-T plays the policeman on TV. This is the deal. Again, in my world, everybody was black.
Okay, right, sure.
I didn't have white teachers. I didn't have 3 white teachers my whole life. My schools weren't named for white people. I didn't have any white neighbors. White people were people I saw on PBS, on Sesame Street.
Sure.
Bob Ross or Mr. Rogers. So I didn't have the fear that a lot of people had. I learned good people are black, bad people are black.
Right.
The police was black. The committers of the crime were black. So I grew up looking at it like, I'll never forget going on a trip to Virginia in high school, and we were just trying to get in the door and buy some food in the white store, and told us, bye. What you talking about? We can't.
Right, sure.
Like, you got to serve us. We just like to be served people. And then the white police showed up, and they let us know, no, it doesn't work like that in Virginia. And that's when I valued black police officers even more. Not that every black cop is your friend.
Sure.
I grew up in Atlanta where when the police caught me singing "Fuck the Police," they didn't even know who my father was. It was like, you obviously misguided. Let's take you to your grandparents and see how it works out.
Right.
And I remember my grandmama losing her mind on me. You know what I'm saying? But I was just singing "Fuck the Police" in the Walkman. But the cops here at the time, I never met Detective Williams, God bless the dead, worked at Southwest Middle School. He had been shot in the neck by a 19-year-old boy. And I asked him, I said, why you choose to still work with children? And this is happening to you. And he said, well, I figure if I lost faith in y'all, I wouldn't be here helping you not lose faith in the police.
There it is.
And that really was the truth. So, I have 2 cousins that are currently police officers. One is a police chief in a local municipality. Another's a sergeant in APD. And I want my cousins as black men to be well as black men in and out of uniform. I don't want to see black men be the targets of police violence. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But I also think I don't want to be policed by people other than me. I don't want to be policed by people who don't understand people like me. And I don't want to be policed by people who don't understand communities like me.
You just said something that I had never heard, but it makes so much sense, is you didn't grow up with the fear of white people.
No.
And we see what happens is the media, whatever, lets you think that white folks are above you. They're here to punish you, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
Put you in a subservient situation. A lot of times. But if you're not around that, if you grew up around blacks, like growing up in Africa, in a black village or whatever, you're not going to fear white people if you haven't seen them in that kind of light. And that goes back to maybe we should be policing ourselves, like I said. So and that's all, a lot of stuff goes with it. Some white people are fear of black people for what they've seen, and they're a policeman growing up. They're going to shoot quicker to a black person instead of talking to them.
Well, I think that's bullshit. Now, if you work for the state, you have the responsibility to uphold that job to the greatest degree. And if you don't, you should be penalized in a punitive way, very harshly.
Okay.
And your pension should be touched. Like, just because you a nigga don't mean you can put your motherfucking hands on me. And just because you're a white boy and you scared don't mean you can kill me. But Dick Gregory said something, very pertinent. He said, you don't hear about a plethora of black police losing their mind, getting scared, shooting white folks.
Right.
Because they know white folks won't tolerate it.
Right.
And I think that as a black community and as a black constituency, the local legislators, I think that it's time that we stop tolerating the abuses, because once you stop tolerating the abuses, stuff change. And not tolerating is not just marching, which is important. It's not just reacting in violence, which can be important also. It also is make sure everybody got life insurance, because insurance companies get tired of paying out. It's also making sure that you can have local legislation that starts to attack police unions and starts to attack police pensions.
There you go.
If you kill me or hurt me or in excess to me, I don't want the city to pay me. I want your funky pension to pay me.
Nice.
That funky pension you saving up for that fat white girl when y'all live up in Forsyth, y'all need to make sure that money comes home to me here in the city, because you have a job to do. And your job as an agent of the state is to take care of the health and welfare of the community you're policing, is not to be punitive or to be an action of a punishment to them.
Okay. I totally agree with that. That's really good. Let's talk about some of that musical stuff. Let me get to, because You came up during a heck of a time. I would say like the early '90s, mid '90s, right? That's when you came. With Organized Noise and
So I came in
Outkast.
2000. Yeah, I would have graduated college in '98, '99. So I was still bumping around figuring it out. And
But you were trying to rap. You were
yeah,
Killer Mike back in the '90s.
I was rapping, but I wasn't Killer Mike in the Dungeon Family. I wasn't in the Dungeon Family. I didn't get in the Dungeon Family like maybe 2000.
To 2000. Okay.
Yeah.
What was your name before that?
I was Killer Mike,
Oh,
but I'm
oh,
saying
you
I
wasn't.
wasn't in the Dungeon Family.
Okay,
I didn't
okay,
grow.
right.
I did not grow up within the Dungeon Family. I was Big
Right.
Boy's little brother, homeboy. You know, I was a fan of Dungeon Family like everybody else.
Right, sure.
And when I got brought into Equipment Out Records, I got brought into the Dungeon Family.
Doing what you worked on, I think, Stankonia?
I worked on
That was your
Stankonia.
first time,
Yep,
right?
Yep, Stankonia and the DJ Clue soundtrack, the backstage soundtrack.
Backstage, yeah. I mean, I guess what you saw, you wanted to be a rapper. Did you have a vision of that you wanted to be a certain type of rapper when you were younger? Like, I'm not going to talk about political more. I'm going to be
Nah,
this.
stylistically, if you listen to me, you're listening to a student of KRS-One, Scarface, and Ice
Okay,
Cube.
I agree with that.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
Ice Cube
Yeah.
is probably my greatest stylistic influence.
Really?
Scarface in terms of depth of storytelling and really
Right.
trying to touch raw human emotion, and KRS-One in terms of just thinking. And I would say Shantae in terms of she really was like. My mom went to New York in the mid '80s, I like '86 maybe, 85, '86, and she came back with a picture of Shantae, like a real picture of someone that took and developed
Okay.
Shantae, and a signed album, and that really would like let me know like you can do it. When Shantae sent me that, I remember when she dropped her movie, I went to see it, and as she talked about it, I told her the story. She remembered my mom.
Wow,
and even
dope.
remembered sending me the picture. So Shantae is probably like the biggest influence in terms of you can do it, kid. I've ever had.
Really? Okay. Your mom still around?
No, my mom, she died, bless her dead. She gone 4 years now.
Oh man, I'm sorry to hear that
Yeah.
though. But that's but what a hell of an influence that your mother. Because my mother was a burlesque dancer. You know.
You got to love that,
Yeah,
man.
yeah. Well, yeah. She was, but she had a different whole swag about herself, man.
Yeah, man.
You know, to have a mom that my mother was not the cooker cutty, leave it to
Yeah.
beaver mother and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, you wasn't gonna wake up in the morning with no pancakes.
Yeah.
You know, but she told me to dream and do what I wanted to do.
Hey,
you
my
know?
mother did the same.
And-
I
go
met
ahead.
a billionaire, and I was kicking it with him a few weeks ago. And his mother was a cigarette girl.
Oh, really?
A cigarette
Yeah,
girl.
yeah,
in a-
yeah,
in a-
back
in
in
a
the
shake
days,
joint.
yeah.
So, yeah, which
Wow.
is the same as a waitress or
Right,
a dancer.
sure.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
Yeah, those kind of mothers encourage their children because they live in a dream of sorts. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
that was the beautiful thing about having a mother that was so young and a mother that was kind of bohemian in terms of the way she moved. She didn't know to tell me no. Her thing was, you want to do it? Fuck it, let's
Fucking
do it.
Let's
Yeah,
do it. Let's
do
rock
it.
out
Let's
with it.
let's figure out how to
Let's
figure out how to do it and do it.
My father was, from the South. He was in the service, so he's a little more conservative, like you
Yeah.
way saying. But my mother's German. She was wild with it. She was like,
White
she
girl.
long- yeah.
Okay.
She wore a mink coat to my little league football team and told her to fucking play. Put my son in now.
You got to love
I
that.
was like, damn. They're like, who is this? Like Joe Namath on the sideline.
What they call it,
You know,
what Bob Marley's grandma called him, the German boy.
the German. Well, yeah, that's probably what they call me. But yeah. So
So your dad meet her over there? You met her over
No,
there?
he met her in Texas, Fort Hood, Texas. That's where Army
Yeah.
basically. And then they had me, and then 2 weeks later he moved to Germany, went to Germany, and then my mother's from Germany, so she went back to Germany with him. And I grew up in Germany for the first 11 years.
How'd you like it?
At the time, I didn't know any better. Similar to what you said, I had no fear of nothing.
Yeah.
I didn't feel the racism as a kid, you know.
Yeah.
But I was with Asian kids,
Yeah.
white,
'Cause
Mexican.
you're on the
whatever.
Army base.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the Army base. So I didn't know. I didn't really get racism until I moved to D.C.
Yeah.
when I was 11 years old.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden, the kids started teasing me. I had long flowing hair like Prince on his first album.
Yeah.
They used to call me all types of names. We called it Jonan back on.
Yeah, they call it Jonan.
Jonan, they said Joan on me, and you look like a girl, you like a bitch. And I was like, damn, I wish my hair was nappy in the back like y'all's. My shit was beady up back then. My shit straight and luxurious and shit. My cousin, I lived with my cousin for the first 2 years. First year when I moved to Germany. But yeah, so that was a culture shock. And I think that's what I'm gonna ask you. I'm gonna ask you now the question. I'm gonna ask you this, going further ahead, but since we're talking about it, being mixed and light skinned like I am. My mother's white, my father's black. You're dark skinned, and both of your parents are black. Aren't they pretty much dark skinned?
Nigga, you think I'm lying? My daddy your color.
I can't believe that though.
Yeah, you ain't got to believe it. Nigga.
Well,
It's
damn,
true.
you showed your
want to see
daddy.
a picture of the nigga?
No, I want to see a blood. I want to see a blood. No, I want to see
Yeah,
a blood test.
my
Okay, a blood test. How about
My
that?
father's family was owned by the Long family, Crawford Long, the man who invented anesthesia.
Okay.
So,
wow,
so
okay.
my father is virtually his whole side of his mother's family. is like-
Okay. All right.
My
Well, the premise.
grandmother Veda was Mary Veda Long.
Really?
And I was her little black baby. And yeah. So in the South, you know what they call kids like you? Nigga. That's not the same as they call kids like you. Nigga, you just work closer to the house.
Okay.
It didn't make no difference. That's the beautiful thing about the South. Yeah, you light skinned flowing hair, that nigga, that just means you didn't pick as much cotton.
Right,
you still
right.
had a
True
bag
that,
around
true
your
that,
shoulder. Yeah.
True that. But here's the thing, and I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that because on social media or if I do Comedy Hype News, shout out to Comedy Hype News, if I speak about something that is, if I put black people's feet to the fire of doing something wrong, oh, that's your white side. That's your white side.
Yeah.
If I say something positive about black people, do whatever they want, oh, you're speaking black. But someone like yourself, they'll take it easier from you saying, putting the black people's feet on the fire. Why is when I say it, it's my white side. I can't be legitimately saying it, but you can say it and it's the same thing and be, respected for it and
Man,
say, oh, yeah.
The most beautiful thing I remember saying to my dad, I was a kid in elementary school. I said, man, we would have been in the slavery times. I would have been in the field. You'd have been in the house. He said, boy, I would have been right next to you. He said, I would have been right in that field next to you. He said, niggas are niggas.
Right, right.
And that's the beauty of the South. Now, I don't know what happens on the internet because I'm not on there enough.
Okay.
Because you talking to robots or children,
Oh, okay, I know that.
in terms of the people that are talking to you.
Right,
but
sure.
Where I'm from, it ain't no black and white side. You black.
Right, sure.
That's just what it is.
Right,
you black.
right.
You got one drip of black blood and you in the South. I don't know how they still look at it in the United States of America, but
Right.
Alabama, Mississippi, North Florida, South Carolina, Arkansas, Oklahoma, and all parts of Texas, you a
Right,
nigga.
right.
It doesn't matter. So for me, you could be as light skinned as you and Pimp C. You could be
Right.
dark skinned as Dick Daddy Kane and me.
Right.
You're still going to get the same treatment. So you better act accordingly.
Right.
And that doesn't mean get in line. That means you better act like a black man. You better,
Sure, there you go.
better move free.
There you
and
go.
act like it. And there's nothing wrong with holding your people's feet to the fire. Some things though are better left said outside of the public sphere. It ain't everybody's business when black people getting their shit together.
Okay.
Sometimes you got to retreat to the living room, to the dining room, to the Masonic halls, to the barbershops, to the, wherever you congregate with other black folks. And that's our discussion. That's not a discussion to be held publicly. And it's certainly not one to be held in front of white folks because it ain't their business. Just like a lot of things that go on in the white community, like Dick Gregory would say, and like my grandfather said, that's white folks' business.
Right,
That's not your business.
Sure. And I totally agree. It's funny you say I agree with that, but this is sometimes on black platforms, and I just think we still have a lot of
What
infighting
black
amongst ourselves.
platforms? We don't be on
Man,
Black Planet no more. We not on
Comedy
Combos.
Hype News is a black platform.
Respect.
Blair, don't do your shit.
Respect.
Pierre's Panic Room is a black platform. I know who I got on this damn show. Come on, brother. I worked hard, brother. Everybody in here is black.
My wife and I were in Germany a few years ago. And,
First week. Damn.
Whenever we in Germany, my wife, she wears a hijab and whatnot, so she does like full Muslim guard.
Oh, okay.
So we ain't been to mosque or church or something.
Right,
It don't matter. But they don't search you. They don't go too
Right.
far. So she like, But
Okay.
a kid had led us around for 2-3 days. Obviously, a kid was mixed descent. I would assume his mom was white and his dad was black. And at the end of the trip, when he took us to the airport, I asked him. I said, "So I gotta ask you something." He said, "I said, so who black? Your mom or dad?" My father. How did you know?
Yeah.
And I'm like, nigga, I'm looking at you.
Right, I can tell. Right.
But it was interesting from the European perspective to be somewhere where race had not been a preeminent issue with him. So, in his mind, it was as easy as Sunday morning with he and his friends. But we picked up on a lot of things that was a little different, just subtly different
Right.
enough. But I say, man, that must have been an amazing feeling for him to have grown up and not have to feel the stick in the briars of racism, as overtly as some people do of mixed descent here. But again, in the South, man, if you had one drop of black blood, you was just black. So,
Right.
you know.
Well, one thing I think about you also, it's just the way you move between white and black crowds the same.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but some people, they turn it on and turn it off and
Yeah.
shit. Shuffle a little bit around.
Ain't no wrong with dancing to something you got to dance.
Okay.
Some folk got to dance,
Oh,
man.
yeah. All of a sudden, their speech pattern changes around certain folks and stuff. But I see you on Bill Maher, who I'm a fan of Bill Maher.
He's a friend.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like Bill Maher. I've always been a huge fan of his. Because he put everybody's feet to the fire.
Yeah,
you
he
know what
does.
I'm saying?
He does.
And I respect it. And I respect the fact he brings people like yourself on. It's not afraid to bring you on. You're starting to go on another echelon where other networks are bringing you on, have been bringing you on, because one of your well-spoken, and you seem to know what you're talking about, which I believe, you know what I'm saying? And I think you come from a genuine place.
I do.
You know what I'm saying? And not a hateful place. Well, some people, white folks would think he's hate. Because I'm quite sure you don't get as much hate as somebody like, unfortunately, like, another black artist that speaks, pro-black and doesn't come off the right way.
Well, I don't know if there is a right way. I know that there are some people who are polarized and saying what they're saying firmly from our side because it needs to be said. And there are people who have a talent with connecting. And there are some people who just don't care. It's not our business at all. And I can work with any of us. It doesn't. I can work with people who I don't necessarily agree with and necessarily like,
sure.
does it progress us?
There
know
you
what I mean?
go.
If
There
it
you
can
go.
progress us, I can figure out working with you.
But I agree with you. But when I do the shit, it's like, we fuck with the white man. Like, brother, you got to work with everybody to get this thing done. Because here's the thing.
Or not. Everybody doesn't have to. But you that comes with if you're gonna be a connector, you got to get used to getting shitted on too. That's gonna come because it ain't. I didn't got the raccoon emoji too. It comes. You know what I'm saying? I didn't got tied to the whipping post. You know what I mean?
Wow. See,
that comes too. So, but it to me is. If you're doing it to progress us as a people,
sure.
then you just keep doing it.
Right. I think some people are just foolery with it. They don't really get it, man. Sometimes you have to be, because one thing I feel like, and they tell me, are we ever going to be to the place where we support each other all the time? That's the problem with us. If we supported each other, all the stores and business and so forth, so much more, then we would have the power of getting away from that white man.
It's gonna happen.
Right now, I feel like we hang in there a little bit because we feel like they're gonna do us right. Because my father had a business one time. Let me tell you a quick thing. He had a florist place.
He was a florist?
Florist, yeah.
My mother was a florist.
Oh, well, toward the end, in his retirement life, he kind of was a florist. But my father was a strong soldier.
Ain't nothing wrong with being a florist.
My father was a warrior, Mandingo warrior. But sold flowers though. Yeah. But say his flowers were, let's say, for a dozen, $12. He just said, and he bought them for $9. So he made a $3 profit.
Yeah.
Then Home Depot down the street had the same 12 dozen. They sold them for a dollar less, $11.
Yeah.
And they paid only $4. So they made a $6 profit to my father's $3 profit. Yeah. And black folks, instead of giving my father extra dollar, ran down to them white folks. Once them white folks got my father out of business, they raised their prices back up.
Yeah.
And Negroes did not complain about that damn $12 for a dozen. Yeah. And we seem like sometimes we will, just like Home Depot, we like, here's the money. Yeah. But the little corner store, yo, Blair, give me two for $1. What's the hookup? Why our mentality, why do we feel like we talk to us, we got to get the hookup or it ain't right. But white folks, we pay full price.
I don't know, because I tend to try to support us and I pay a little extra. But I can tell you one thing I learned by living in the South, sometimes you got to name your store Whiteman's Flowers. That went over a lot of people's heads.
Oh, okay. So we'll support that.
Yeah, it's not my store. I don't work here, boss.
Right.
I just work here, boss.
Right.
But I can't give you the extra $1 off, but I know Mr. Whiteman, when he come back, I'll tell him about it.
Right.
You got to be wise as your grandparents were. When people came to get their transmission fixed at my uncle's shop, he had bought that shop from two white men. Okay. They had went into debt and couldn't keep it. He told me what he bought it for. And he said, I just kept the white boys up here because people need to still think it's their shop. Because if they think it's my shop, they might not want to come. So,
and ain't that a shame?
No, it's just business. Target doesn't
it's a shame that we think that way.
No, it's just business. You've been trained to think a certain way.
Right.
Accept the way you think and adjust. And just because if your goal in business is to make money, it's like they say, well, white people ask me, Killer Mike, do they at the swag shop, at your barber shop, they cut white hair? I say, y'all pay $60 a haircut. You goddamn right we cut white hair.
Sure.
I cut your hair right now.
Sure.
So what you have to understand is the psychology of the customer. If your customer thinks that white flowers smell, better, then, you name your business Mr. Whiteman's. You put a picture of a white man on the wall and you slang roses like cocaine in the 80s. But you have to understand the people you're dealing with. We didn't put us or subjugate us to bestiality. We didn't subjugate us to slavery. We didn't, after the civil rights movement invoked integration, we didn't integrate our dollars. We did as consumers, we integrated our dollars. We put, I think, one or two bus companies out of business by integrating totally into society. We put many stores. My grandfather was never a fan of the Negro Leagues closing down. He watched Major League Baseball. My grandmother did, but he would always just shake his head in disgust. And I used to ask him, like, Satchel Paige got a chance to play, Jack Robinson got to play. Like, what do you? And I didn't understand until later in his life what he was disgusted by. When Negro Leagues would barnstorm through small southern towns, on those Sundays when they would play baseball 3-4 hours, money got made through sales of food, money got made through sales of souvenirs and things of that nature. So what it really took was commerce out of our community. And our dollars escaped and our community started to depreciate and we lost control and value. So for me, if our people think something is better, sometimes, man, you just got to create McDowell's and stop wondering why people going to go down to McDonald's and just try to catch what you can. Because we really only 60 years into freedom. And you 60 years into freedom, Christ still white in a lot of churches. Your president, you had one brown one, So your people, it's not like they think is better. It's not like they they've been conditioned, and you have to understand you're dealing with a conditioned people. And if you work around that, if you really in business for making money, you're gonna work around that. And as you grow, like, I didn't know Famous Amos was black when I started eating cookies in high school. No, it just sounded like a black name, Amos, But when the black man popped up, by then it was too late. Everybody loved it. I didn't know Super Soaker was invented by a black man. I just knew it was a great product. All of a sudden, they was like, well, a black man. I'm just like, I'm not going to come off the Super Soaker now. I'm at Whitewater having a ball with the Super. So make a superior product. Create a superior service. And don't worry about, hey, you don't support me if I'm black. If the service and product are superior, you're going to get it. And then when we find out you're black, then we toot our horn about you and we spend even more money with you. So
that I noticed too. Service, with us, sometimes when we see each other, it's I don't feel like it's up to par at some places, restaurants, McDonald's, whatever it is. But when we see the white folks, I feel like it's like, hi, how you doing? Welcome,
I feel like as customers, we need to learn tipping. I want to talk to black people who go to service related businesses. Like, let's make sure we tipping at 20% and better.
Ooh, it's 20 now.
It's never not been 20.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, it's always been 20 with me.
Give him a shiny quarter.
But
you did a good job.
A lot of times we have to realize the people that are serving us are overworked, they underpaid, they're tired, they single parents just like us, they on child support just like us. They're going to do the same bullshit we go through, and the least we can do is smile and say please and say thank you. And they'll leave a tip of 20% or better.
So even when I like that, when you get the negative energy from somebody who's pissed off,
I say, hold on. I say, listen.
Right.
I know you've been dealing with these niggas all day.
Okay.
I know you mad as hell.
Right.
But I need you to be nice to me because I'm just out with my wife. We just having a good time, and I promise I tip good.
And it changes like that.
And usually it changes
Come on,
like
bro.
that because you acknowledging the fact it's been a shitty day, bro.
Right.
And, my mama was a player, so she made sure I, as her son, understood how to move like a player.
Right.
She understood if you want to get sat first, go shake the maitre d's hand and put a $20 bill in it. At that time, which is probably now 50, and say, hey, I'd like to, I can remember taking my girlfriend in high school on a date. We was like 16 and 17, and I knew how to tip. I had been taught how to properly tip at 20%. And my friend who worked at the restaurant came out and said, man, I got to tell you, the girl who served y'all, she didn't want to serve y'all. She was being an asshole at first. He said, but at the end of the night, when you tipped her, she felt really bad because she said you tipped her better than anybody that night. And I was like, I can't help. She ain't no motherfucking player when she saw one.
Woo! You heard that.
Everybody wanted to be too short in high school.
Right.
But I understood then that as customers, young kids was coming in, they weren't leaving proper tips.
Okay, I get that.
They were ridiculing her. They weren't. So she judged me on her last 20 customers.
Right.
And hopefully from that day forward, she learned to recognize a player when she saw one,
one of the easiest thing I do is just say the person's name. The person, if I see your name tag and your name is Cheryl, hey, Cheryl, how you doing? Just that alone, me acknowledging her as a human being, I guess, saying her name,
absolutely
changes it.
Yeah,
so shout out to, I'm telling you, when y'all working with folks and you see their name, just say their name.
That still don't mean tilt. Now, you still got the tilt fee.
Man, 20%.
You got the tilt fee. You got to tilt that 20, man.
All right.
Tilt that
Speaking of tip, what you think about him trying to steal our shine over here with the comedy, man?
That's my friend.
Okay.
I love him. So you got to know that's one of my best friends in the world. And nigga been funny. So, why not expect? Lil Duval had a #1 record.
Right.
That's our comedian homeboy. If our comedian homeboy can jump over and then did it again with Snoop.
Right.
So, somebody from the rap world going to give it a shot.
That's funny because he's been here before. He's a funny person now. He comes to a lot of comedy shows and stuff. I had no problem with him doing it, As long as you dedicated to really trying to be funny, you know what I'm saying, really respect the craft of it and stuff like that, I'm down for it.
That's what I've learned about the comedian culture. You guys are a real community. Y'all help each other. Y'all encourage each other. Well, the ones I see.
What nigga you talking about?
Well, I mean, it might be because you light skinned too. But
There
like
it is again. Michael
at
Blackson called me.
After the comedy shows I've hung around, I see comedians really hanging out. But I just want to say this to black entertainers. Sammy Davis Jr. sang, danced, did comedy, and played an instrument.
Sure.
When you start looking at classic entertainers, period, whether you're talking about Betty White, Dean Martin, Jerry Lewis, they had multiple. Mike didn't just stand there and sing. Mike could dance. You know what I mean? So, and his brothers and sisters played instruments. So for me, I am for any artist expanding. So, I think Tip is funny. He's taking it very seriously. Sure. And he took rap seriously, and look where that took him. So
and acting. He did really well in acting and so forth.
It's doing well.
Yeah.
So why not? Big Boy is another person who I always thought Big Boy was just one of the greatest pattern rappers ever. When you listen to Big Boy's patterns, you hear Lil Wayne with nasty patterns like that. You hear Kendrick with nasty patterns like that. Like, you can tell his influence has went through. Missy Elliott patterns.
Right.
And I was like, man, I remember when Dre kind of left to start acting, I was like, man, Dre taking his acting seriously. He's studying. And then I saw Big. I was like, you gonna act too? And the next thing I know, I seen on stage. I'm like, shit, like,
Right.
dude really can act. So
Right,
you know,
right.
seeing Big and Dre expand into acting, seeing Tip
And you was in
expand-
Idlewild with them.
no, I was not in Ottawa.
Oh, when I was-
No, I wasn't. I think
A
it was
researcher,
Faison. I think
you
niggas
getting
be calling me
fired.
Faison.
Okay.
But shouts out to Faison. Love. Yeah,
Okay.
but I've seen my personal friends and heroes, you know, transition into acting and stuff. So why not tip into comedy? You know.
No, I don't have a problem. So let me ask you a question. Speaking of Tip and doing comedy, what type of comics do you like, or name some comedians you like?
Bill Hicks, Lenny Bruce,
Hold on,
Richard
what?
Pryor.
What you know about Bill
George
Hicks and them?
Carlin is probably one of him and Dave are two of my. Gerard Carmichael is a new one.
Okay.
Ryan Davis is absolutely
He's funny,
amazing.
yeah.
Just Niche.
Okay.
Is amazing.
Come on, Paul Mooney.
Paul Mooney, come
Come
on,
on, man. That's my brother right
Dope,
there. That's
man,
my
dope,
number. Yeah,
dope.
yeah. So I see you like cerebral.
Cerebral.
Okay, thank you. That's why you're here.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah. People think a lot. You like those and those who actually say something.
Yeah.
Are you the same way
I
with
like
rap?
ratchet shit too, though.
Oh, you know.
Yeah, I watch Cheaters every day.
I'm just thinking here. That's my-
Shouts out to my nigga Joey Greco.
Really, Joey? Yes. So no, I like those comics too. I feel like now in the stage of my career, what happened to me one time was I was funny for a long time. People said, "Man, you're funny.
Yeah.
But things wasn't moving. My career wasn't progressing. I was like, why not? I'm ripping these clubs and these theaters. I didn't understand why not. And one day I would come to my hotel room after a show and be kind of sad, like, oh, I'm rocking, but my
Yeah.
career's not moving.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of artists and rappers probably do that too. I say, what's happening? I'm one of the dopest around. But once I decided to shoot my special, which I recently shot, it's gonna be out pretty soon. Thank you. I said, what am I not doing right? I started thinking about people like Bill Hicks, George Carlin, Richard Pryor, even Kevin Hart. All these people. I said,
Yeah.
what did they do? One thing I found out, people love storytellers.
Yeah.
Once I learned that, I said, okay, because I was telling jokes, bop, bop, bop,
Yeah,
bop,
yeah.
yo. I said, okay. Then I started saying, P, go into yourself to stuff that you were telling people on the phone, girls on the phone, funny stories about growing up, my mother
Yeah.
being a stripper and shit, basically,
Yeah.
you know, catching my mother cheating in the bed, just all that kind of stuff, and make that stuff funny. And it moved my career so quickly.
Yeah.
People started saying, hold up, you're a little different now. You ain't just a goofy guy up there jumping around, laughing, and all that. And I realized, because I was afraid of silence. A lot of black comics are afraid of silence. They think
Yeah.
that if you're not laughing, you're not enjoying it. But no,
Yeah.
it means you're listening.
Yeah.
You're paying attention. So these young comics out there, if you hear somebody quiet, they're paying attention. So you like Ryan? I'm just thinking of some of the newbies. You like Ryan Davis?
Yeah, I love Just Niche. I love
Just
Ryan.
Niche, yes.
Classic storyteller. You know, I don't know if this is a off subject, but
No, man, come on, you
Bill
here.
Cosby special himself is one of the greatest storytelling.
When he sat down, when he's sitting down.
When he's sitting down
Yes,
and
yes.
he has the brown suit on,
Right.
and he talks about what it's like to be a father
Right,
of
be
a
a father.
son.
Right.
And you get the son the football, and you get him the football, and you
Sure,
go in the yard,
sure.
and you run the touchdown on the back of you.
Right.
And here you go, and you boom, and you run, and you fops, and he say, then he gets in high school, he gets the ball, and he bumps, and he dodges it, and he scores a touchdown, and everybody's going crazy, and the camera gets in the eyes, and he looks in there, hi, Mom.
There you go.
That is what being a father feels like. And,
Right, wow.
and to this day, when I think of my 4 children and their love of their mothers and how much child support I paid, I just
Hi, Mom. Well, they say hi, Dad.
Yeah,
I kill him.
I never forget that you know,
Wow.
no matter what you do as a dad, you're always going to be second place to mom.
I'm torn in between. I want to know where you're torn with Bill Cosby. Do you think that he was railroaded toward the end? He should just been left alone, or do you think
I
it's
tend not to even think about it at all.
Okay, no problem.
Again, all my heroes and villains have looked like me. I don't think any person is above reproach. I remember going to my high school when he spoke there after I had graduated and prepared to just be very angry with him. And I was angry because, to me, he was shitting on poor black folks.
Oh, the comment about, okay.
Yeah, but when he said something in there that night, I walked away with it. And now, mind you, the guys that I carry in my pocket, or I have a pocket full of money, they were all slave owners. They were rapists. They were some of the most committers of evil that any human being can do, because to hold a human being in bondage, to commit a human being, to subjugate them as a beast, to walk around with a 14-year-old girl as though she's your bed mate, or somehow the ability to say yes, all those men were evil, committers of evil.
Sure.
And, with that said, the Bill of Rights is one of the greatest pieces of paper written, the United States Constitution. And this country is given the descendants of people who were brought here enslaved enormous opportunity. And Bill Cosby said that night, he said, poor people and working class people have not held up to their end of the bargain. And I'm looking at him, I'm ready to be mad. Now, I remember that. You ready to set it off on his ass. And he says, education is free, and it will free you from subjugation.
Oh, that's true.
And when he said that, I realized I was standing in the grounds of the high school that had prepared me to go to Morehouse. I was standing on the grounds of a high school where every morning when you walked in that school, you read, without struggle, there is no progress. And another quote by Frederick Douglass said, it's easy to build strong children than repair broken men.
Yeah.
So my entire life, I had been conditioned from kindergarten forward to be confident and competent to do the job. And the job was to educate myself, to develop myself, and to do the same for my family and community. So the challenge that he gave me, I appreciate. The example that the Cosby Show set in the middle of the crack era,
Sure, yeah.
I appreciate.
Sure.
I don't, and I can say when he's before our God and whatever scales and balances that God weighs us on, I would just say that the work that he did good in my life personally, I can say I appreciate.
Sure.
And I can separate from the man that Bill Cosby was and the things that he has been accused of.
Sure.
I don't know that he's been convicted of anything, but
Sure.
the things that he has been
Accused of. Right.
I can say that the art and what it inspired me to do and become has been tremendous.
Right.
The challenge to use education as a freedom tool was accepted, and it worked for me. And I would say to the people that wish to somehow erase his whole legacy, I would challenge you to keep that part of the legacy for black people, because we need that part of the legacy now more than ever. We need the part that tells us we're confident and competent. We need the part that normalizes black family. We need to be inspired by shows that showed you black children in a college environment like a different world. And just like I can separate George Washington as the father of this nation from the fact that he owned 300 human beings,
Sure.
he freed none of those human beings. And the legacy of those human beings, many of which share his bloodline, but do not get to share in that legacy, still remains to this day in living human beings. I'm able to polarize my thoughts in the same way about Mr. Cosby as I am any former U.S. president and slave owner.
Now, I dig that. And because of stuff that Bill Cosby did, do you allocate the same thing for like an R. Kelly? Can you separate the talent he was and what he does, or that's something totally different if you put those two together?
That would mean to stop listening to, like, think about, I'm not as a parent gonna let my child go spend the night with Michael Jackson or R. Kelly.
Right. Sure.
I don't know what they was doing there. And in fact, as a parent, you're not gonna spend the night. You got a house. Like my granddad told when I was a child, you don't need friends. You got cousins.
Wow.
But the music,
Okay.
the music is some of the greatest R&B music that's ever been produced. So I don't think that you're ever going to stop hearing R. Kelly music. But our community hasn't been in huge support of R. Kelly signs. I ain't seen no niggas with no free R. Kelly signs, So black people, when they get quiet, a lot of times black people are just giving you that subtle nod of justice is being served. We understand. And you'll hear Step in the Name of Love at your 77-year-old grandma's birthday party.
Right. That's facts with that. Okay. Damn, that's true. Because some people just, feel like, if you've done any crime, you should be erased off the earth,
I mean,
you and everything.
If you look at, I don't follow any Abrahamic religion, but one of the most powerful stories I heard was there was a Christian killer named Saul.
Oh, yeah.
And he ended up ride or die for Jesus, and his name was Paul. But before he got up with the guy named Jesus, and before he went on a crusade helping spread the word of God, he hunted Christians down and murdered them brutally. And I would fast forward that to what our brothers and sisters in Rwanda did, and even South Africa with the Truth and Reconciliations community. In Rwanda there was a brutal genocide.
Oh yeah.
And I saw one story of a woman living next to the door to the man who had killed her husband, and this man saw it as his lifelong responsibility to make sure he takes part in helping this woman not suffer again. So as human beings, we are all capable of terribly unjust, cruel, and evil things. And as human beings, we're also capable through forgiveness, redemption, and to change our ways and help put ourselves and help put the world back on course.
Yeah, and that's one thing I like about you. I really feel your sensitivity or your real feeling. You really feel this, man. I really feel like you feel this, not just speaking it. And that's why I'm gonna ask you a question. you were raised to be let me take it back. At least an era where guys were tough and rough and tough,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
But I've seen you be very sensitive.
Yeah.
I've seen you when you saw Farrakhan.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that was a hell of a breakdown. Well, how emotional showing. I remember when I saw you at a studio when the riots were happening here in Atlanta.
Yes.
And within 45 minutes, you and Tip were talking about Atlanta, and you were getting emotional at that time.
Yeah, I was mad.
And I was like, wow. I was like, this man is very, you know, he let his emotions show. When as a black man, sometimes I'm feeling like we're not allowed to do that. You know, it's a
You're
shot
allowed
of
to
weakness.
do whatever you want to do. You just got to do it.
Okay, well, you know what I'm saying.
Don't think my partners didn't talk shit to me.
Oh, they did, you?
Yeah,
oh, okay,
man,
all right,
my partner DJ Swift, Outcast DJ called me today. Tomorrow, what's up, boy? You crying? You finished? You know?
Wow.
So yeah,
See, that's what I'm talking about.
You got to. But I'm not. I show emotion.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And I encourage more black men too, because the only emotion we seem safe to show is anger, and that shouldn't be right. You know what I mean? That don't mean you let. You know, my grandparents raised me, man and woman, and you couldn't cry all day.
Okay.
You know, get the cry out,
Right.
and you still got to do your chores.
Right.
Get the cry out and get back to doing your homework. Get the cry out, shake it off, and get back out there in the yard and finish cutting grass. But get the cry out. You know,
that's nice.
but after the cry, you ain't gonna sit around and cry all day.
Well, you know, it's funny. I do a joke about that. Like with a black woman, you got one cry, brothers. You better use it for something valuable, not because the Falcons lost or the Nets lost or something. You better use it for value. So the first time she let you cry.
Yeah.
The next time, use a bitch.
Man, my grandfather
You bitch ass
died.
motherfucker crying again.
My grandfather died. I'll never forget. My little sister came. My baby sister LaShonda came to me, and she said she put her hands on my back. I was crying. She said, "Well, go ahead and get it out, cause tomorrow you're the leader of this family, and we don't need that no more."
Oh, yeah.
You know, so it was like get that shit
Right.
out, cause tomorrow you
Right, it's your
lead
turn.
this family, and we ain't got time for no man to be crying all the time. So, you know,
Is it okay for a man to be emotional?
I didn't say you couldn't be emotional, but you know, you still a man. You still got to lead. You
Right,
can't
right,
lead
right.
him. You can't lead. You can't lead the whole way crying.
So cry in the dark and then come out.
No, you
wipe
can
it
cry
out.
in the light. Just get the cry out, nigga. Then you got to get back to leading. Yeah. Get the cry out. Yeah, you gonna cry. Jesus wept, but he
Right.
did a lot more working than weeping.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
You can't cry every time.
Right. Well, that's what I'm talking about. Okay. Yeah. A lot of time. Right. Okay. Because as a black community, the black man is supposed to be strong and tough and all that.
And you are, and you have the right to cry. You're passionate about things. You deserve to be passionate. You deserve to have, but you can't. Your woman needs a leader. Your
Right, I
children
get
need
that.
a leader. So after the cry, let's
Right.
get the lead.
Let me ask you this. You don't have to answer this.
And you
'cause I know
can't
it's a-
whine though.
Okay, I get that.
Yeah, the whining.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now you don't have to answer this, but I fight for this situation here. Now you might want to tell me. You know, we can move on. I'm cool with this. I'm an artist. I'm
Yeah.
a true artist.
Yeah.
I really mean that. I live as an artist. I hadn't had a day job since.
I see
27.
that. I
Yeah.
believe.
You see what I'm saying? You see how I roll, how
You
we do.
fly,
I
you
call
have-
it. Well, that's what I do. I'm from DC. We get fly like that. But I mean, as an artist, I should be allowed to do what I want with my art.
You do. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Without having to deal with bullshit because
Well,
someone else doesn't like it.
no. No one ever said that. Now. No one said you don't have to deal with bullshit. You can do what you want to with your art.
Okay. Here's the question then. As an artist, I see a lot of great comedians who wore dresses.
Yeah.
And I see how black people say that's ripping down the black community. But at the same token, they'll run and watch Power, people shooting, talking about drugs, killing, all that other kind of stuff. Why is that acceptable? No problem with that. I support the killing of the black man and the shooting and the pimping and the hoeing and all that. But if a black man wear a dress in a movie or sitcom, I can't have it. It's going to ruin the whole black nation. What?
I grew up with two gay uncles. They didn't wear dresses, but again, everybody in my world was black. I remember my grandfather when I went to Washington High School. So there's a famous gay club called the Marquette. I think it's called the Marquette. My mama went to this club with her gay friends. My daughter goes to this club. But I remember my grandfather say, "Hey, when you go to Washington over there, at the end of school, you just need to take your butt straight to the train station and get on home. And don't be around there messing with the men that's dressed up as women, because they'll cut and kill your ass."
Right, sure.
So I never looked at it like they were weak, frail. They were men, you know, and they were in
Kick your
dresses,
ass, yeah.
and the men that picked them up liked men in dresses, but them niggas would cut you from your ear to your asshole. So I had a firm respect for the fact that I'm still dealing with someone that can defend themselves, someone that's street savvy, because it was a prostitution strip essentially around that area. So leaving school, you'd see, you'd see this. So my thing is, I remember asking my grandparents, like, what was it like? Was gay people around y'all? My grandparents say, nigga, didn't we watch Little Richard? So, and I'm looking at him like he just said something surprising. He say, we knew what Little Richard was. I say, but the boy could sing. It could play a piano. So a lot of the stuff we make a big deal about, our grandparents didn't make a big deal about because they'd already seen it in some form or inclination. So it doesn't bother me. But if a black man doesn't want to wear a dress, he shouldn't be forced to.
I believe that.
So if Flip Wilson wears a dress, that shit funny as hell, Flip Wilson in a dress, right?
Sure.
But if Dave Chappelle says, why is this dress in my trailer? That dress shouldn't be in this trailer because he's already said I don't want so.
Right.
But if you wear the dress and you get joned about the dress, you can't get mad you get joned about the dress.
Joan is one thing, but to be criticized to the point of like,
that comes with it, man. That comes with it too. Now
all of a sudden he's a bitch ass nigga. He a homosexual because he got a dress on.
I'm saying maybe you're paying too much attention to your comments because you knew when you put the dress on that was on the other side. Everybody knew when you put the dress on. You knew what niggas in the barbershop was gonna say.
I never wore a dress. But I fight for the rights of those who want to wear one.
I can remember, man. It was my sister's prom dress. I think like her little 6th or 7th grade prom. My sister was chubby, and my grandmother had to hem the dress, and she had a huge picture window. And she said, "Come here, boy." And I said, "No, I'm not gonna do that." She said, "She said, bring your butt here." So I'm standing in the picture window with my arms up, and my little sister dress on, my grandma hemming it, and all my homeboys walking by.
Oh no, sir.
It was one of the funniest days of my life, but it was for my baby sister. I'm gonna do that for my. That's my baby, man. Love it. That's my baby. My baby more known on the west side than I am. She's a hairstylist on this, but it's one of the funniest moments of my young life. But I don't feel another way. I did what my grandma told me so she could heal my sister's dress. So I don't have a problem with it. But if you do, don't do it.
Right. Sure.
It's just,
I agree with that.
It's just that simple. Yeah. So, for me, to each his own. But I just want to say, the same people that criticizing you, they still going to show up at that white man's job in the morning.
Ooh, watch your mouth now.
They're going to clock in on time.
Come on now, stop.
They ain't going to give them no problems. They're gonna keep they what's the name hid so that they come they what's the name be private. So all of us, it's just your proximity to the house.
Oh.
When you say when you call me a house nigga, you act like you ain't on the plantation too.
Right.
And plantations didn't have fences.
Right.
Wasn't no walls, wasn't no 10-foot walls keeping niggas on the plantation.
Right.
Everybody to some degree was there when Harriet came, and everybody didn't leave.
Nice. I didn't think about that. All right, a couple more questions now that you go. I appreciate you being here.
I appreciate you having me. Man.
So, what about you in the rap? You in the entertainment business? First of all, a couple of rappers have passed away. Kango, my man Kango Kid, Biz Markie, a couple other ones I forgot to write. Yeah, that Black Rob. We not doing healthcare or what do you think? What do you think we can?
I just know I'm fat. I've had to eat different. I lost about 37 pounds. I've been walking, lifting weights and stuff now because you fuck around and get rich, man. You're like, I want to be here a little longer.
Right, sure.
If you look at Jeff Bezos from 1997 and Jeff Bezos now,
a whole different look.
Boy, he went from looking like a Smurf to Deathstroke.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
What I know is, man, the stress that black people carry is a burden, and I know
in the music industry too.
Period. Just stress. Yeah, in the music industry is worse than the sports.
Right.
Your money not guaranteed. You might have a 4-year contract in sports. You got a 4-month contract in music. So I can say beyond musicians that are dying, black people should support politicians that support universal health care, in my opinion.
Okay, I heard you.
So when you see me run to Ohio to support Anina Turner, it has more to do with things like that. She supports things like universal health care. She supports a mandatory minimum wage. That's why I supported Sanders, because I know diabetes, high blood pressure, heart disease, things like that affect my community more. So along with my personal responsibility of making sure I move my body around, make sure I'm cutting pounds, was just saying the people who need to be able to get hospitalization deserve that. So I chose to support a presidential candidate. Once my presidential candidate didn't get elected, I ran my butt home and started supporting progressives like Commissioner Ted out in DeKalb County, who's a believer in that. So like the brother Khalil, who just won mayor down in the city of South Fulton. So for me, I'm going to support policy that affects us like that.
Sure. And
you ain't always got to label it black, but I'm going to just say if it helps black people, and I'm going to jump on it, which is why I supported more progressive agendas. But, all I can say is, man, just do your best to take care of yourself, however you can, and get some life insurance. Life insurance is not that much money a month, but it'll help make sure we don't have to do a fish fry to put you on the ground, and to make sure you got something left for your children, something left for their mother, something left for your mother. But I would encourage us to get life insurance because regardless if everybody's going to die. You don't want to die younger than you have to, but everybody's going to die. But everybody shouldn't leave debt and worry behind when they do.
I always think that white people, America owes black people 1 month of therapy for free every month because the stuff we go through, we're traumatized. Mentally, we seem like we're off. Example of what did you think about like right now? Kanye's acting like Kanye, I guess. But you know what I'm saying with DL. I mean, it seems like he has the money. Do you think that because he lost his moms or he's not around black people enough, that's why he's going
I
on?
don't think a lot about it.
You don't think about a lot of it?
I think I try my best to take care of my wife and my children.
Okay.
I pray for fathers that because I know. Being a dad isn't easy. Again, that child, I don't care what you do with that child. Sure. You're not going out, that child you're not going, a mother is like a child's first God.
Makes sense.
That child has been in that mother. I think some of its pregnancies might have been different, surrogate and stuff, but a mother really is a God-like figure in a child's life. So even when a mother's wrong, a child's not going to be adversarial to the mother because it doesn't want to upset the mother. And I think that all of us as black men need the counsel of other black men.
There you go.
Right now, I don't know, his relationship with his father, but I'm glad my mother left me with two fathers. Because a lot of days I got to call on both on the same day. Say, hey man, I'm going through this. I need some advice.
Right, sure.
So I would just say, I'm praying for the brother. I hope that there's a council of black men with gray hair around him, and as dope as Jesus is and as solid as the church makes you feel, is nothing like sitting in the barbershop with a bunch of old black men listening. Okay. So I would encourage the brother to seek his dad and uncles and some men with some gray hair on them and just seek counsel because it's very easy to ruin a reputation you spent a lot of years building. And your children are worth ruining your reputation. And with that said, they not going to be better off if your reputation is ruined and yours isn't either. So I hope the brother finds peace.
So I'm getting to know you here. You don't literally watch culture, social.
Well, that's not culture. That's popular culture.
Okay.
Culture is black people.
Sure.
Niggas that had money in Atlanta 120 years before niggas started singing and dancing.
Right. Sure.
John Wesley Dobbs was a business leader and unofficial black mayor of this city. His grandson, 50, 60 years after, he already ran the black side of the city, ran the whole city. Booker T. Washington and W.B. Du Bois had the Atlanta conference here as early as I think 1905 and 1906. So I'm about black culture. I'm about the culture that predated the 500 years of slavery we went through. I'm about Kemet. I'm about Kush. I'm about Ghana, Timbuktu. I'm about Mansa Musa, Sunni Ali B. I'm about the African diaspora. Right. I'm not about a bunch of niggas who think because they done did something cute in the last 20 years or so that somehow they invented a new culture or some type of cultural leaders. None of us have done anything as great as the Honorable Elijah Muhammad or Marcus Garvey has done. None of us have done what Patrice Lumumba has done. None of us have done what the Maroons of Jamaica have done. Or none of us have built what they've managed to build in the black towns down and around Brazil. Until we do that, we need to stop throwing the word culture around so lightly.
Okay, I respect that. But I have a fight with. Like, let's say a YouTube. If a rapper, whenever I hear a young rapper unfortunately pass away, I go Google them. I don't know who they are. I'm like, who the hell is this dude? Boom. And I go to their videos, and things they have is they're young, they're black male, they got money in their hand, they got guns, talking about shooting their ops and all that. It's all on YouTube, constantly video. But if a person said, I'll slap a gay guy, your shit getting pulled down. That ain't gonna happen. But we constantly let that go on, or no, we put it on.
Well, that's not true, because when Saucy Santana was beefing with the boy in the wheelchair.
Who?
Who was Saucy Santana? What's the other one name? What's his name? Rolling Ray and Saucy Santana. They both black men. They both gay as they want to be. They were beefing like a motherfucker. And YouTube let that stand. So
well, that's just two gay guys. That's just, but
hey, I'm just saying. Saucy
there.
Santana asked, "Bitch, can you walk?" And the other man in a wheelchair. I was like, "Boy, that's an evil nigga with a beard and a beat face."
Really?
Yeah. But
I wasn't up on that.
I just say I believe Dr. Eric Nelson, who's a freedom fighter for the First Amendment and black people and rappers in particular, talks about not letting rappers' words being used against them in court and things of that nature. You see guns and hear "I'll do this to yous" in rap videos for the same reason you hear them in Greek odysseys in songs, for the same reasons you hear them in Scots and Irish songs, for the same reason you hear them in battle hymnals of America. Young men full of testosterone need wars to wage and battles to fight, even if they aren't really wars and battles. In words, there are. When you look at the Zulu dancers on YouTube and you look at those warrior dances, they're not going to fight the Dutch, but it's important that the spirit. Now, what we don't do good as a community is harness that energy and put it into something that we can use. You know, these videos that you see of these young men, they can be thwarted, but they're not going to be thwarted by asking YouTube to suspend your First Amendment rights and let other people keep theirs. They're not going to be thwarted by saying shame, shame on you. What you do is you take those boys out for 6 weeks in the summer and you let them hunt some game and kill it and cook it. And then they start to understand firearms are just a tool. What you do is what has happened in the South for hundreds of years. You start getting boys out in fields and you start showing them that this is why you need guns. This is why you need to learn how to fish. So if you wish to thwart that, get your boys outside in the same way that you see white Americans doing.
Sure.
Put a gun in your child's hand. Get training yourself. There's a group called the Black Packers with a Z. You guys should follow.
Okay.
They take black people on hikes. They take black people on hunts. They show them proper firearm instructions. Because a lot of times the things that you're seeing on YouTube, nigga, you forget we grew up on NWA. The Ghetto Boys, the Dayton Family.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Family, damn,
yeah,
man.
come on. Like, think about that. Think about the music we were hearing.
Right.
But we also had a different world on television. We also had historically black colleges and universities actively advertising in our high schools. So we were counterbalancing bullshit with the reality of, you know, nigga, after you finish thinking you're going to kill the police, let's make sure you get 1,100 on these SATs and better so you can go to school. So we have allowed our community to get off balance. I remember sitting in the car with my little boy. He was just turned 20 years old, so he had to be 15, 16, maybe 16, 17. I said, man, we listening to this chomp-ass rapper, man. Just, I mean, I really think this motherfucker just a federal agent put in rap.
Really?
Like, I really think he COINTELPRO. And thank God he gone. But he ain't dead. Nigga still alive. Right. He ain't even a nigga. But just I asked my son. I said, you believe this shit? And he looked at me. He stopped and laughed and said, Dad, I don't even think he believed this shit.
Wow.
Oh man, I bust out laughing.
Right.
But it was because my son has been in such close proximity to real men.
That's
me,
yeah.
the men I call my brothers, his grandfathers, his friends. He played organized sports. My son at his age was the same as me at his age. He could decipher what was fantasy and just something to get crunk to, and what was for real.
Right.
And I think that if we do that, if we manage to raise children that are thinkers, I think that we'll be better off and we wouldn't be as worried about what's going on in YouTube.
Okay. Well, beautiful. I got one last question since we're talking political, a little bit of political. I know you was a big staunch Bernie Sanders supporter, which
Still do.
I
still do.
Which was fantastic. I like a lot of stuff that Bernie was.
I pivoted to Nina Turner, and I think that people should be put behind her. I really see her as the de facto leader of the progressive movement now.
I think Bernie was. I think Bernie's age did his. I think his look did his thing to me. I'm being honest with you. I just felt like he just seemed to be a little old. We wasn't sure if he was going to still be around or not.
Who, Bernie Sanders?
Bernie Sanders. Yes, Bernie Sanders looked old. He looked very old.
He looked old? He does 3 miles a day. He can shoot basketball.
Well, he don't show that on TV.
Yes, he does.
I don't see it.
Yeah, you just wasn't looking.
No, okay.
That was your white side.
Okay.
That old man pretty spry, man. He pretty spry.
Okay.
The guy we got up there now, jittering. I be thinking they holding him up with a cane.
Let me ask you that. Okay,
yeah, that's the motherfucker that's old.
Okay. Do you think that he has let down black people?
Who?
Biden.
Has he let down black people? He might not let down black people. He ain't let down me. I knew what we was getting.
You knew you was getting?
Yeah, I knew what we was getting.
Because black people thought it was going to be an extension of Obama.
No, they didn't. No, they didn't.
You crazy.
Black people didn't think.
What you say?
Well, if they thought he was going to get an extension of Obama, they was exactly right. Somebody who's not going to do very much for your community.
Do you think Trump did more for black community than what's that?
I would rather deal with the devil I know. And what I mean by that is there's a book called The Devil You Know. And you guys should check it out. I think I'm saying the name of that book. I'll make sure I send you the book. But it's somebody Google that. The book, The Devil You Know. Yeah.
It'll come up across it.
And I want to say that because people need to see this book because it's a call for blacks to remigrate in the South. It's a call for blacks to remigrate in the South and to try to politically dominate in the South. Blacks should be dominating in places like Tampa, Birmingham, Charleston, Jacksonville, Savannah, and we should be dominating with a black agenda. But what I mean is, for the first time in my lifetime, I saw with Trump a casino owner, a business person, someone who was just looking to cut a deal.
Okay.
And I feel like we had a better chance of cutting a deal between him and Biden with him. I didn't vote for him. I didn't necessarily want him to win, but I'm like, man, being a kid who had been in the streets, I'm like, you know, he'll cut a deal. The other guy not going to cut no deal because the other guy in with Auntie told him they got the bag. He's not going to even listen to us. And so I think Biden has been who he has been this whole time. I think he is the same politician that invoked the word super predator. I think he is the same politician that pushed for disproportionate sentencing between crack and cocaine. I think he's arrogant. I think he is ignorant, and I think he does not have the best of our community in mind. Nor do I think the black advisors he has. I think they have the best for the black Democratic community. But I grew up in a black community that had Democrats, Republicans. Again, my heroes and villains. The same neighborhood I grew up in. Birthed some of the strongest black Democrat supporters. Also produced Herman Cain.
Oh wow!
You know, so for me, my thing is where can we get something? You know, so I don't think that the Democratic Party has in the last 60 years done right by black folks.
Okay.
I think that black Democrats, like Marion Barry, have done right. I think Maynard has done right. Andy has done right. I think that we've had, was it David Washington in Chicago or New York? Whichever.
Washington Dinkins.
Dinkins. I'm saying Dinkins.
That's your black side.
Yeah. So yes.
Hey, man.
Negro.
Washington.
But I think that we've had some black Democrats that tried their best. But as a party, I think the Democratic Party could do much better by us. And I think that if the Democratic Party and their leadership does not do better by black people, I think what they're going to start to see is in pockets, black men in particular start to exit that party for other options. So I would advise black Democrats, because I'm neither Democrat or Republican. I'm whatever I need to be on a local level to advance my people. And in Atlanta, that means more often than not I voted for black Democrats. But I voted for the black Democrats that I thought had more for me locally. But I'd like to encourage black people nationally and globally to lean into politicians that are willing to negotiate with you, because politicians don't like you. We have an oligarchy in this country. We have a political community in this country that believe themselves above you. They believe their children better than yours. They believe that they should share more of the resources. They believe that people who receive TANF or welfare should take drug tests, that Congress and Senate should not. So they obviously feel themselves better than you. And if you're going to be voting these people in office, what are you going to get in return? You know, you got to start handling them like a baby mama. What you got for me? And if you ain't got nothing for me, I'm going to raise hell about it.
And we got to start doing them every 2-year voting, too, because we go out that every 4 year for the president. As soon as the 2-year local level comes,
and you got to vote down the ballot. You got to know who's running for prosecutor, who's running for judge. If you're in Atlanta right now or it's DeKalb County, Chief Judge Asha Jackson's running again. I'll be supporting her. Okay. You know, you gotta make sure that you know the people. You know, who the judges gave your cousin 30 years. And why aren't you organized and getting that motherfucker voted out?
Yeah, that's so right. I just worked for this young. So man, I forgot her name. She's in Birmingham, Alabama. She's working for being a circuit court judge, and she was telling me how she's there to help people not get so many long sentences that don't deserve them. She's fighting that. I was like, wow, I didn't really think about that as much. Like, you know, she's a circuit court judge that she has guidelines to go by, but make sure it don't get extended. You know, something foolish. Absolutely. Last question on that is, who do you see in the future? Do you have an eye on somebody for the presidency in the future in the next 2 years?
No.
No.
I would like to see Nina Turner run for United States president. I'd like to see the first black woman president of the United States.
Stacey Adams.
I'd like to see Nina Turner be the
Damn.
president of the United States of America because Stacey's running for governor. And if Stacey wins for governor, I don't want her to exit a gubernatorialship to chase a presidency because that just means that a gubernatorialship was all about ego and pride, and I don't believe her to be full of ego and pride. So on a practical level, she's running for governor this year. If she wins that governorship, it's not about a popularity. It's not about pop culture. It's about who can effectively get in. And if the leader of the progressive movement right now, by de facto, is Nina Turner, that's who black people should be supporting to be president of the United States.
Okay, all right, well, okay, well, cool. So we see all that on social media. I mean, we'll see, I see you on social media. Let me change the gears, have a little fun here. I do a thing called IG creeping. I mean, I go on your IG page. We a whole crew go on your IG page, and we look for something. We try to find, what was you thinking when you was looking at this thing? And there's a lot of things I've seen about you, brothers. I picked out 3 or 4 things, 3 or 4 photos of you that I would say damn to. You know what I'm saying? Here's one of them right here. What in the hell was going on that year there? Michael, okay, Mr. What year was that?
That's ninth grade.
Okay.
In between haircuts. Because my hairline is full on West African Bantu haircut.
Hell yeah. Right.
I got those. I look exactly like my daughter Mikey with that expression. And this is me. And I remember this Adidas suit. My mom was dating a kingpin at the time.
Wow,
and
really?
my mom, shouts out to my man King, man, my man Ralph. And my mom had went and bought me all these lame ass jogging suits on the flea market. And I spazzed. I'm just like, I ain't wearing this shit.
Right,
and I cried like a sucker, man. I'm just like, and he was like, what's wrong? I was like, man, she went and got me all these lame ass jogging suits. Nobody wanted this flea market ass shit. And he took me to Belvedere Mall, man, and bought me 30 new Adidas and Puma jogging suits.
Really?
And I wore different
Shout out to him
every
for
day.
real, yeah.
Shouts out to my man Ralph, man. And that was one of the Adidas jogging suits.
Was you right before this? Was Killer Mike here, or was you a couple years away from Killer Mike?
Nah, it was about a year away from Killer Mike. I got Killer Mike in a freestyle battle like a year after that.
Okay, all right. Well, it don't just stop there. We got plenty of pictures. We got another picture of you. Where they do that at? Come on, not the lips, man.
Oh, man, I think I had pissed my wife off, so I posted that up just to piss off. Shouts out to Shay Bigger, man.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, that's my baby, man. I got to kiss her. She was mad as hell, too, man. I shot her the peace sign.
Yeah, I see that. Well, all right. Now, that I'm rolling with.
Yeah.
You got an action figure, my nigga?
Yeah, and I got on the same shirt. Like, don't listen when they tell you folks don't wear shit twice. I'm wearing that shit right now.
Yeah, and the shoes. Hell yeah, look at this one.
I'm one half of a rap group called Run the Jewels. And we drop toys throughout the year, and this is one of the toys we drop.
Man, one of my favorite songs y'all got, I think it's called Blockbuster Night Part 2.
Blockbuster Night, yeah, Part 2.
Where, you got what you got, Dippo or somebody else was on it. A couple of white boy, the white rappers?
That spot was on there.
That spot, man.
He
y'all
raw
killed
from Queens, that boy raw. And he has a new show. He got
okay, give him a shout out.
He got a show. He had me on there, Ghana, and Thugger, man. So Chillin' Island is the name of the show.
Yeah, I like that. But I like that. So that song really stood out for me, man.
Thank you, bro.
Yeah. Blockbuster Night.
That's that
part
whitey.
2. Yeah. Well, is that what it was?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So, all right, and now we balling. We doing it big.
Yeah.
Okay, we doing it big. This is what we doing. The gas prices affected some of us. Okay?
Yeah, I put $120 in there before I brought it out tonight.
Hell, 120. And would you put half tank in there?
Yeah.
Okay. You live over there with white neighborhood. That gas extra high up there.
Shouts out to I really wasn't in the I like muscle cars and I like German sedans, but I can tell you, man, that Cadillac, this one, I got about 15, 16 cars, I think. This is my favorite vehicle.
Look, extended. Is it extended with a long body?
Yeah, I sit in the back.
So you drive to some of your shows, like local, an hour, 2 hours?
Nah, I ain't driving no shows no more.
You don't drive no shows? He's like, Killer Mike's
I ain't
right
on
there?
the Chitlin circuit. I'm on
Well,
World
nigga,
Tour.
come on, man.
Yeah, I'm opening for Rage
My bad.
for the next 2 years, yeah.
Oh, you really?
Yeah.
Wow,
Rage was opening for Rage. We play Coachella both weekends this year, and then we leave for the rest of the year with Rage.
I was thinking about going to Coachella. That's in April. It's like about 2 weeks from now.
Yeah, about 3-4 weeks.
Yeah. I don't know what month. Okay, cool. Well, no, man, I appreciate you coming out.
Man, I appreciate you, bro.
Before you leave, we got to do this thing called Spin the Wheel. Everybody comes on my show,
Okay.
has to spin the wheel, and what it falls on, you have to participate in.
Okay.
It could be anything. If you can spin a game.
Do I spin or you spin?
No, you spin it. I'm going to put it down there for you.
Okay.
Trading places, and who would you trade places with and why?
Okay.
Any real secret you had you never told nobody. A little secret, maybe. Maybe told 2 people, whatever. I don't know how you remember this, maybe, but you lost your virginity. Okay. You don't even remember that. You got to make a celebrity crush call. You can call whoever, just all you got to do is act like you're making a call for somebody. Okay. You talk to them, you're trying to see
They told me how to do it backstage.
Oh, they do? You know all this stuff? Okay,
Yeah.
Well, I got some fans that don't. That's the black side again. Let me the white side got to do the show right. Got white people looking at this, too. This is the first time they said it.
Let's get it.
God damn, but get something off your chest. Biggest lie you ever told. So you can tell me any of the stories you just told me. That'll work, too. And there you go. So, all right, y'all,
All
hold on.
We got it.
Yeah, yeah, drum roll for Killer Mike. And spin it. What is
Trading
that?
places with and why?
Yeah, who would you trade places with if you had the opportunity with, and why? I know you live a perfect life. But let's say you live there, you might trade places with somebody and fix the situation.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. So who would you trade places with? The microphone still works.
Yeah.
All right. And why would you trade places with somebody? Anybody?
Who would I trade places
Yeah.
with? Jeff Bezos.
Jeff Bezos.
Yeah.
Okay. He's rich. Why? Just because he's rich, or what would you do?
No.
Okay.
It's a lot of rich people. If I was just going for rich, I would have been doing rich and cool. I would have did Robert Smith, a black billionaire.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Jeff just has enough money to actually affect, say, the continent of Africa. I just do a deal with the continent of Africa. I empower Africans in terms of their countries and economy and have power. I share power with them. And I would be the only white man. I'd be like that one white man in the Wakanda movie.
Okay.
I just cut Africa such a sweet deal that I co-control the resources and stuff, but Africa would be the preeminent world power versus the West, and I'd be the only white guy they're allowed to come in.
And you think he has enough money to do that?
He definitely has enough money.
Wow. Okay. Because I know he's like worth a crazy, some billions of dollars.
Yeah.
Well, we like to, we're gift giving around here, brother, for the
Oh, thank you,
appreciation.
man. That's the Tiffany's. It's just Tiffany's color. This is from Tiffany.
No, my assistant ain't Tiffany. Open up. Hold on. Everything in there is black-owned business. So open up and give a shout out to whoever's in there.
All right,
Whatever's
cool.
in there. Let's see what that is.
Let's see.
Oh, that's one of your. Oh, okay. That's a shirt.
Oh, this is the Pierre shirt. Okay.
Damn right. I got it at.
This is my weight loss goal shirt. I'm gonna keep
Well,
going.
no. We got 5X for you, nigga. We got 5X.
But nigga, I'm tall.
well,
I'm
and-
6'3".
okay.
That's like a short, fat nigga shirt.
Okay, well that's the three. Well, damn. Right. Open that. That is
What
black
is this?
owned. That's black owned.
This black owned?
Yeah. Butter
Sweet,
lotion.
smooth white. This boy look crazy on him.
Yeah. He is. But he's good. Oh, he's good.
I got some beads.
Somebody made some beads for
my
you?
My wife ain't gonna let me keep this. She a witch. She don't
What?
let the other witchcraft in there.
She want you to have beads.
Juju beads.
Well, it's a black owned young lady made some
Hey,
beads. Really,
hey,
she don't
man.
care about that. Oh, damn, okay. All right.
Nah.
I don't want to argument. Now move to the side. Then, damn
Give
that.
this to my daughter.
That right there is
comedy height. This
right,
seems
but
dope.
it's a card game. You can play with your friends, and it
Okay.
has a lot of classic stuff on it. Certain things happen. No, open that up. Hold on, that's a black-owned man. You remember Tabia Boney, a rapper from DC?
Uh-huh.
He lives. He had a family that owns.
Oh, wow.
That's black-owned. Show it to the audience. I got to show the audience.
Hydrating miss.
Yeah. Really. Okay. So, yep. This brother got damn.
Like
you
rose
hydrated.
water.
Yeah, there you go. He got what's that? Lotion.
Face wash.
Face
This is
wash.
dope.
Yeah.
While on the barbershop, I need to talk to him. We need to carry this in the shop.
For real though. For real
While
though.
on barbershops, rather.
Right. I don't speak on it, brother. Speak on it. You said two of them. Plural.
I have three.
Excuse me, that's the black side of you. Okay.
You know, a white folk always try to undercut you. Well, he has two shops. One's only open during the Hawks.
That's what I'm doing. I'm undercutting the brother.
Hey, brother,
Yeah.
I want to thank you for being patient and let me come.
Oh,
I
it's
really
all
was a
good,
fan
man.
of the show already. I'm a fan of you.
Oh, I appreciate
And the cool
that.
thing about comedy is comedians never get old, man. So
There you
you're
go.
going to be around here for a long time. Thank you.
I will hope so, man. No, I appreciate you coming. Like I
Love.
told you, man. You told me you were gonna do it, brother. You said just let me get the schedule right,
Yeah.
and I'll come, man. And
Yeah.
I've heard that before from some folks, and they never came, never took my call again. You've always taken my calls.
Yeah,
you always say,
absolutely.
P, I'll do it. Just let me work on this. We finally got it done
Thank you, man.
at 2 in the morning. Nigga,
We'll call it folk time.
There you go again. Yo, thank y'all for watching Pierre.
Thank y'all so much. Thank y'all,
We
guys.
do it every week, man. Hey, one more time, shout out to my man Killer Mike. Give him a big round of applause for stopping by, y'all. Thank y'all. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button or notification bell right there. And we'll holler at y'all another time. And we out at Pierre's Panic Room.
Hey, what's up? I'm Killer Mike, a.k.a. Michael Render. I survived Pierre's Panic. Hey, I'm Killer Mike, a.k.a. Michael Render, asking you to subscribe to Pierre's Panic Room.